multiple multi-digit products by rounding factors to a basic fact and using place value patterns. Okay, so estimate means educated guess, right? We are going to use our knowledge of math to make some educated guesses, okay? Maybe we're not going to have exact answers, but we're going to be pretty close. And we're using multi-digit products, which means that we're doing multi-digit multiplication, okay, by rounding factors to a basic fact. So we're going to round, and then we're going to use some basic multiplication facts, your math facts, which you've been studying and practicing, right, your multiplication facts, and using place value patterns. So let's go to the Learn pages. Lesson 2 problem set, name on your paper. Number 1, round the factors to estimate the products. Okay, so we are going to look for numbers that are easy to factor. Okay, so for example, 597, we could easily round to the hundreds place and get 600. And 52, we could easily round to the tens place and get 50. And then we can easily multiply that, right? And we're going to get an estimate. And it's an estimate because it doesn't say equals. It's got a little curl to it, right? Right here is our equals. It's got a curl to it. And just like yesterday, 6 times 5 is 30. And then we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. So our estimate is 30,000. A reasonable estimate for 597 times 52 is 30,000. That is an estimate. That is an educated guess. Okay? Next one. We've got 1,159. Okay, so let's go ahead and round this one to 1,100, okay? Which could also be 11 times 100, right? If we want to factor that out like that. And this 59, we're going to round up to 60, okay? So now we've got 60 times 11 would be 66. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. Do you see what I did there? So I rounded down that to 1,100 or 1,100, and I rounded this up to 60. And then all I had to do was multiply 6 times 11 to get 66. And then I had the 10 here and the 100 here. And what I came up with was 66,000. Do you see how I did that? A reasonable estimate for 1,103 times 59 is 66,000. Is that an exact answer? No, that's why it says estimate. Okay. Next one. All right. 5,840 times 25. Well, let's see what we've got here. I think we could probably round this up to the nearest thousandths. So look at the 8, and that's going to round to 6,000. This is why it's important to have good rounding skills. If you're still working on rounding, then we need to work on that, okay? And we could probably keep that as 25, or we can just go ahead and round it up, right? The 5 is going to make it round up to 30. Now I could take 6 times 3, which I know is 18, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, which comes out to 180,000. Okay, do you see how I'm looking for math facts here? 3 times 6, 11 times 6, 6 times 5. I'm looking for numbers that I know how to multiply easily in my head. Next one. Complete the table using your understanding of place value and knowledge of rounding to estimate the product. Okay, so here we've got A. This is the table, it goes across. And they've rounded 2,809 up to 3,000. And they rounded 42 down to 40. Then they multiplied 3 times 4 and got 12. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, right? And their new answer is 120,000. That's their estimate. So we're going to do the same thing for the next one. Here we've got 28,000 and 420. Well, I can do exactly the same thing. I can round this up to 30,000 and this down to 400, and I can do the exact same thing. They rounded this up to the nearest 10 thousandths, and this they rounded down to the nearest hundredths. So 4 times 3 is 12. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. So 12 million. Okay. Next, this is a different number, so be careful here. Let's see. I'm going to round this 8,932. I'm going to round that up to 9,000, the nearest thousand. And I'm going to round 59 up to the nearest 10, which is 60. And now I have two numbers I know how to multiply really easily. 9 times 6 is 54, because I know my math facts. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros after that, which means I put my comma in the wrong spot. Sorry about that. Okay. And now I have 89 tens and 63 tens. So I know tens times tens equals hundreds. Just to remind you of that, tens times 10, so that's 10 times 10 equals 100. And I have 89, which I'm going to round up to 90 tens. And this 63, which I'm going to round down to 60 tens. And now I can multiply. 9 times 6 is 54. And I have two zeros, 1, 2. And I have to put my unit back in there. So 10 times 10 is 100, so now it's hundreds. 5,400 hundreds. Okay, next one. 398 hundreds times 52 tens. So hundreds times tens, it's going to give me thousands. So I have here, I'm going to round this up to the nearest hundred spot. So I have 400 hundreds. And 52 tens, I'm going to round down to the 10 spot. So 50 tens. And now 4 times 5 are easy numbers to multiply. 4 times 5 is 20. And then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros after that. And hundreds times tens equals thousands. Great. Okay. Number 3. For which of the following expressions would 200,000 be a reasonable estimate? So we are going to figure these out. I'm going to round this down to 2,000 times 12, which is 24,000, right? And this one I'm going to round down to 20,000. I'm going to keep that at 120, and that's going to be 24, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Somebody asked me today, how do you know where the commas go? Start on the right, count 3, and then a comma, then a 3 and a comma. Okay, never start on the left. Next is, I'm going to round that down to 2,000. And this to 120. And then I have 24. 2 times 12 is 24. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. Okay. And this one I'm going to round to 20,000. And this one is going to be 1,200 or 1,200. And now I've got 24. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros. Okay. So they said 200,000 would be a reasonable estimate for which one of these? Well, 24,000 isn't even close. 2,400,000, way too big. 240,000, close. 24 million, okay. So I'm pretty sure that this one right here is going to be a reasonable estimate. How do we know 240,000 is the closest possibility to 200,000? Okay. Fill in the missing factors to find the given estimated product. Okay, so 24. First of all, what are our factors for 24? What makes 24? 2 times 12. 3 times 8. And 16, 24. And 6, no, wait a minute. 6 times 4. Okay, so these are factors for 24. These are factors for 24. And these are factors for 24, right? 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 8 is 24. And 6 times 4 is 24. So I'm going to look over here and what can I get? So if I rounded that down to 500, that's not going to get any of my factors. If I rounded it up to 600, then I have the 6 here. And I need a 4 on the other side, and I have 43, so that's going to work. 40, okay? And 6 times 4 is 24 plus 3 zeros. 24 plus 1, 2, 3 zeros. That works. Okay, 49. What are my factors for 49? Well, the first factor I think of is 7 times 7, right? That's the easiest one. So can we do 7 times 7 over here? 726. Well, we can round that down to 700. And 674, we can round that up to 700. And then we're going to get 490,000. Good. All right, 4. What are my factors for 4? Or let's say 40. I can see it already. 40. Let's see. So factors for 40 would be 4 times 10 would get me 40. 2 times 20 would get me 40. 8 times 5 would get me 40. Okay. So what are my factors for 40? So if I'm looking for 40, over here I see 8,379. So I'm going to make that into 8,000. And this one, 541. I'm going to round that down to 500. So 8 times 5 is 40. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Good. So you need to know your math facts. If you are still struggling with your multiplication math facts, you need to practice. If you do not know these factors from the top of your head, okay, you are not ready for 5th grade math because math facts are essential to what we're doing, okay? So practice, practice, practice. Number 5. There are 19,763 tickets available for a New York Knicks home game. So that's a basketball team in New York, the Knickerbockers. And if there are 41 home games in a season, about, that means estimate, about how many tickets are available for all the Knicks home games. So let's see, we've got 9, wait, that was a 12. I meant to draw a 9. 19,763 times 41. And we want to estimate our number here. So I'm going to go ahead and round this up to 20,000. And I'm going to round this down to 40. Okay. So I use the 7 and I just rounded it up to 20. And now 2 times 4 is 8. Okay. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros after that. Okay, so 800,000 tickets. That's a lot of tickets. Great. Okay. And if you want to check your answer, you can always multiply and see how close you got. Number 6, Michael saves $423 a month for college. Always a good strategy. How is he making $423 a month? I'm not sure. He must be working really, really hard at evenings and weekends. About how much money will he have saved after 4 years? Okay, first of all, you need to know that there are 12 months in a year. Okay, that is some pretty basic math there. Okay, so we want to know 4 years. So we're going to automatically, 12 times 4 is going to give us how many months in 4 years, which is pretty easy. That's 48. Okay, 48 months in 4 years. Now we're going to take this number, $423, and multiply it by 48. Okay, and that's going to give us how much he saved after 4 years. But you know, there's some months where he goes out to dinner, and there are other months where he doesn't go anywhere and he saves a little extra. So we're looking for an estimate. It says about. So I'm going to go ahead and round this down to 400, and I'm going to round this up to 50. And my estimate then is going to be 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1, 2, 3 zeros. So my estimate is that after 4 years, he will have $20,000 saved. So if he's going to a state college, he will have saved 4 years for 1 year's worth of college tuition. College is really expensive, you guys. Okay, B. Will your estimate be lower or higher than the actual amount Michael will save? How do you know? Okay, well, this number I rounded up and this number I rounded down, so that isn't going to help me out. Let's just go ahead and solve it. Okay. 8 times 3 is 24. Carry the 2. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. Carry the 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33. Then I drop a 0. Now I'm going to multiply the tens place. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16. Carry the 1. There's nothing there, so that drops all the way down. Then I add 4, 0, 10, 13, 7, 8, 9, 10. Carry the 1 is 2. So in fact, the actual number, if he saves exactly the same amount every month, would be slightly higher. And we probably could have predicted that by looking at this number, which we dropped down to 400. If we had raised that up to 450 times 50, we would have raised this number. It would have been higher. So whenever you estimate, especially with money, it's always probably a good idea to estimate down so that you are pleasantly surprised by saving more than you actually planned for. Okay. There we go. That is our last problem. And if you have any questions about this, please ask. This is estimation, which also includes a little bit of rounding and math facts. So if you're struggling, study those math facts. And if you need help with rounding, also let me know. Okay? Have a great day.